music.
Yeah.
How about we continue our discussion of GSP?
Okay.
Brings us to this Pump the Brakes segment, and check out this quote he gave our friends over at the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani recently. "These are my last few fights that I'm going to do. The fights that are going to cement my legacy as the best of all time. And that's what I want to do. I want to make history." So, Dave, do you believe GSP, who's going to be 36 in May, has a chance to go down as the best MMA fighter ever after this comeback attempt? Or should we pump the brakes on that?
I think he's got the possibility of doing that. Now, he's got to go ahead and take that middleweight crown from Michael the Count Bisping. And then if you do that, and you're already recognized as the best 170-pound champion you've ever had and ever seen in the UFC, and then you become the champion at 185, you can start to make that argument for best of all time. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson might have some people to say, wait a minute, in my weight class, there's nobody my equal. But what I think we're getting at for best of all time, greatest of all time, can you do it in different weight classes?
Right.
When Mighty Mouse went up, it
didn't work out well.
Right? Can GSP go up? We'll find out. And then if he does he stay at 85? Does he fight another guy? He says he's walking around at 185 pounds.
Okay.
What a novel concept. Fight at the weight that you actually are, right? Instead of cutting and getting back down to 170.
Don't have to worry about the terrible cuts.
So I think if he stays at 185, if he's dominant against Michael the Count Bisping, and then let's say he defends at 85 against some of the Romeros of the world. I mean, there are fights to be made at 185 pounds. If he defends once or twice against those top dogs, yeah, Georges St-Pierre can say, what else do you want me to do?
Okay.
I wiped out everybody at 170, and now I wiped out your best guys at 185. I am the best. I'm the GOAT, the best you've ever seen in the UFC.
But do you think he should go back to welterweight, where he was the champion, and now try to see what's up with a Tyron Woodley? Like, would that prove and further solidify his legacy? It's one thing to wipe everybody out, defend your title, come back to middleweight, beat them, then go back down to show you I can take time off and still dominate a welterweight.
I would think so. If Tyron Woodley is now recognized as the best at 170, and now he's starting to make a case with a couple of victories under his belt as champion, that Tyron Woodley is not a flash in the pan. He's a legit champion at 170. Do we regard Tyron Woodley as one of the best pound-for-pound guys in the world? I don't think so at this juncture. GSP has always been in that discussion.
Right.
So I do think Michael Bisping at 185, really good fighter. Never been champ until now.
Right.
If you wipe him out, that looks great because you're going up 15 pounds to do it. If you do go back down and beat Woodley, great. But then what do we do there? Do we then have to fight again? Because Woodley and Bisping are not viewed, I could be wrong, but in my own eyes, as dominant champions in their individual weight classes. But if you wipe out the guys at 85, there are monsters like Jacare Souza, like Yoel Romero. If you beat those two guys, I might be more impressed than if you went back down and got your old belt at 170.
Could you see Conor perhaps going up to a 170? Because that would be the mega fight, and GSP wants to try to cement his legacy if he beats a Bisping and then later on beats a Conor when he's done with this whole Floyd scenario.
I floated this out there months ago that I think that's the biggest fight actually that the UFC could make in the next calendar year. If Conor's gone for the rest of this calendar year, at least this summer, boxing.
Right.
And then maybe in December or January, when Conor comes back to the UFC, if Georges St-Pierre has won at 85, got that championship from Michael the Count Bisping, and does say I'll go down to 170, and Conor goes back up to 170, massive, huge, break them off something for that pay-per-view buy.
A lot of possibilities for GSP, but first, though, has to knock off Michael Bisping to open up those doors.
And the Count's like, hey, forget it, this guy's a has-been, he's done.
Right.
I don't care about those training videos. I'm the champion at 185. This question will all be moot in a couple of months.